Wave One Radio. Good morning, America. Happy Wednesday. It's February 3rd, 2021. I am your host, Emos the Witness, aka the F.I.L.L Show. Stand for what the fuck I look like. Come on down 120 East Market Street. Check me out. You can catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Bring you that new hot political perspective, a new analysis, a new angle. I am your host, Emos. Bring you a new hot perspective. You can like me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Again, you catch me live downtown 120 East Market Street. A new hot perspective politically. We're holding these politicians accountable in 2021. You know, we've been through a lot, in this past 4 years. This is the post-Trump administration. We're now into the Biden administration, and it's time to see what we have, what this new administration has in store for us. So let's get into the news of the day. Let's get into the politics of today and yesterday. And I'm your host, Emos the Witness, here to be your guide. So my man Malik on the ones and twos. Let's bring it down. Let's bring the background music into focus. Let's get into the news. Again, I'm downtown at 120 East Market Street. I am your host, Emos the Witness. Two of the hardest working producers in town, in the city. Give it up for Malik and Wyatt. Catch us downtown at Wave One Media every Monday, Wednesday, Friday live. So let's get into it. All right. So we got a lot to talk about. Like I said, I want to expose hypocrisy. And as I mentioned in the previous shows, that I create this show because, I was very disenchanted with what happened the past 4 years. That's the past 4 years in this country. Despite what we've been going through with the stimulus, with the economics of the country going up and down, the stimulus, the COVID, the vaccines, the viruses, the voter integrity, the voting irregularities, the investigations, whether they had merit or not, over the Trump administration, just fed up. Fed up with the double talk, the two-tier justice system. As an ordinary American citizen, I felt like I had to throw my hat in the ring. So I came out here and I said, let me start a show. Let me add my voice to the American culture. And I encourage everyone to do the same. We live in an age of censorship. We live in an age of anti-protest, anti-Americanism. Our values are being eroded daily. The right to bear arms is always being under attack. The right to control, the right to free speech, right? The right to protest, speak your mind. There's a time where, we know as a country we're divided, and it's very clear. But there's a time where you can speak your mind and speak your truth without losing your job, without being slandered or shamed, or your family being shamed. Overbearing of voices and opinions where you get drowned out. So as long as I can, I'm gonna come out here and Wave One Media, start a show, speak my truth, and we're gonna base it on what we see every single day. That's the angle in which I'm trying to promote here. I'm a referee. I am your guide. I am Emos the Witness, the F.I.L.L Show, standing for what the fuck I look like. Cause we're tired of it, America. So we're gonna look through every article, every quote, every statement, anything that's impactful, influential from any top leader in any kind of industry, whether it be business, politics, whether it be entertainment, whether it be sports, music, international leaders. Everybody with money and power have a lot to say lately. It's a power grab going on right before our eyes. Whether it be money, whether it be the laws being changed. And what are we doing as Americans? Are we just letting it all slide by? Are we just walking past, living our daily lives, letting these lawmakers and politicians sway us one way or the other? We gotta hold the mantle. We gotta hold our American values close. Now, I'm not saying this country's perfect. It's not. I lived in it for 42 years. I've seen enough. I've seen things that need to be changed. But like I said, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. This country is the greatest country in the world. Let's admit that. You wouldn't go anywhere else. You talk that shit about this country each and every day. You bash our politicians each and every day. At the end of the day, you're not gonna leave. Where would you go? And why would you go? To make a point? Every election we hear celebrities say they're gonna leave this country after so and so was elected. You know what I mean? Nope, they don't leave. They're right there. They're right there on that red carpet, strolling and strutting. I tell you, the hypocrisy is, for me, it's so blatant. And the authoritarianism is getting blatant. I mean, like I said, the things that a lot of these moguls or powers or industry leaders that walk this country, that make these decisions on our behalf, the media, for example, they're doing things, big tech, they're doing things blatantly in your face, shutting down politicians, other companies that are their competitors. Have anybody heard from Parler lately? Parler? Hello? I guess there's gonna be no retribution for Parler. There's no good story for that. There's no happy ending. That's one social media platform that's just gone in the wind. It seems like that. You know? Big bank take little bank. Right? Twitter. All them cats. Google just shut down Parler. We ain't heard nothing yet. There's a politician, Marjorie. I should get her full name right. Well, anyway, she's currently being. Now, this is a congresswoman who has some obscure views. Let me pull her up. Let me pull up that article. I want to talk about that a little bit. Marjorie Taylor Greene, U.S. House Rep. House Republicans are divided, angry to meet and decide the fate of Liz Cheney and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, I'm gonna get to Liz Cheney here in a minute too. She's on my topic of discussion for today. But of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's again a controversial figure. She has made some strong opinions about QAnon and the election. A lot of what people would consider conspiracy theories or whatnot. But I want to catch a quote here. So when Republicans, like I told you guys last week or last episode, Republicans are currently at a crossroads. They're divided. I didn't see this coming. I thought that the Democrats would be a divided party based on, Ocasio-Cortez and the young Democrats who want to see change and want to kick Pelosi out. But you saw a strong Democratic leadership the past 4 years, and I guess that was a testament for all the Democrats rallying around one goal to oust Trump. And it appears to be working. They have control of all three branches of government. And again, you have Republicans here trying to decide fates of U.S. representatives that are voted in by their constituents, by their people, by their people. And now they're getting forced to be pushed out of office because their views don't match those of the leading party, the Democrats currently controlling the House. That's not how Congress works, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you get voted in based on the people you represent. Now, if her views are actually reflecting the people that voted for her. So if she feels the way she feels, that means the people who voted for her, or the majority of, feel the same way. She gets to Congress, she spews those opinions in Congress and halls of Congress in Washington, D.C., and now she's getting censured and, forced to be kicked out, maybe potentially by her peers and Democrats. So again, you have establishment Republicans making decisions that ultimately are going to hurt them long term. And, it's disappointing to see, because if you really recognize, you really see what's going on. And I got articles to point, and this is another example. And I really wanted to jump into, I really want to jump into stimulus. I want to jump into COVID, and I will, because these are important. But, Malik, I'm going to jump to this article right here. Can you go to spurred by Capitol riot? Thousands of Republicans drop out of the GOP. You're going to put that article up real quick. So I just want to talk about what's going on with the Republican Party. I mean, like I said, it's splintered. You got the establishment Republicans, you got the young House Republicans that are pro-Trump, and you have a population of, Republican Party. You have a population of people who are, never Trumpers, Lincoln Project individuals who actually spearheaded the ouster of Trump based on ethical, based on really frivolous personal reasons or issues that have to do with his character. And ultimately, the whole point is, the whole mission of the Lincoln Project and those establishment Republicans who wanted him out of office was just for power and control of what has always been the status quo, and to keep foreign policy initiatives in their favor going, because President Trump was making a lot of big changes in the foreign policy realm as well. Again, so you have a Republican Party that's also filled with disgruntled Americans who actually are pro-Trump. And again, now this is a pro-Trump party. The Republican Party is controlled by Trump, and it still is. He has a major influence, and you're going to see that in the 2022 elections, the midterms. You're going to see that when there's going to be a lot of pro-Trump values and principles and policies, nominations and nominees running for office, and you're going to see a lot of Republicans get kicked out, a lot of elders kicked out. You're going to see Mitt Romney's, all those people gone. McConnell, he almost lost a close race. And you'll see him. People like that their seats would be up for grabs. There's a real threat there. And I think that Trump knows that. I think that Trump, that kind of faded to the background after the January 6th debacle on the Capitol. And he said, let me lick my wounds and I'll come back. Let me stir my pasta and I'll be back. Let me just maintain my influence. That's what's most important. Maintain my message. So I think that he makes sure he controls his message, his narrative in the midst of all this censorship, and he's gonna look forward to coming back in 4 years. And we might want to welcome that, America, and I'll give you several reasons why. And I give this another example here. Right here, these Republicans. I mean, this article here is actually blamed by Andrew Kinney of the NPR. He's actually, saying the Capitol riot is the reason why 1,000 Republicans are dropping out of the GOP, and that's very possible as a reason, but it's not the main reason. And again, it's going to be a constant battle of wits and dialogue and information when it comes to this riot. Was it a protest? Was it a terrorist act? The media keeps portraying it as something so drastic and dire in comparison to what happened this past 2020, the summer of 2020, with all the riots. They're using this hot button issue to push laws and thoughts and theories into your mind that are here to stay, and you got to push back against that. For example, I mean, there's troops all over DC. There's troops all over Washington D.C. right now that are there. Well, initially they were there to protect the inauguration, and now they're still there, and more have arrived. And the reason now is to protect against. Let's see what the reason was. I think it was any future storming of the Capitol. So they're using this thing to decide. I don't know. I mean, just using the January 6th protests to change our constitutional values and traditions, and also, differing opinions, and to suppress them. I mean, there's no reason to have so many troops around the Capitol building unless you plan on doing something, unless you plan on passing laws amidst any objections. So we need to keep our minds on what's going on in D.C., bringing in troops under the guise of the impeachment proceedings might get violent. And, like the inauguration, we didn't see any violence in the inauguration. So why we keep sending troops to D.C., Okay. So I like to watch the actions of the administration. That's what's telling. That's what lets you know what's going to happen in the future. So, just same reason why we have troops in D.C., we also have troops, in Syria. Like how does that happen all of a sudden? Like the first moves, the first few weeks in office are telling. So I like to watch foreign policy. And we have an article here from the International, from I-24 News. The U.S. military convoy enters northeast Syria. This report, Syria report. A large U.S. military convoy entered northeastern Syria on Thursday. Syrian State News Agency SANA reports, citing sources on the ground. According to the report, a convoy included some 40 trucks and armored vehicles and was backed by air by helicopters. It entered Syria from Iraq via the Al-Walid crossing to bring arms and logistical equipment to the bases of Hasaki? You want to try, Malik? No. And Deir ez-Zor provinces. Other local media reports that such maneuvers are not unusual, as U.S. often transfers equipment between Iraq and Syria. So this is a common maneuver. But the only difference is that some 200 U.S. troops arrived by helicopter to the Hasaki province, and that hasn't happened before. So that's an increase, that's an escalation against the current rules of the game, or what was currently in place. Because in late 2020, then President Donald Trump ordered U.S. troop withdrawal from the area redeployed to Iraq. So yeah, we do see an increase in troops in Syria by 200. That's the difference. And so we got to watch what the administration is trying to do overseas. Again, so he may have free reign because, like I said, if you look at, you got Republicans that are disenchanted with the GOP. You got Liz Cheney, who tried to impeach Trump. She got her own voters in her own state rebelling against her. You got 10 counties wanting to censure Liz Cheney. Here's an article by the Washington Post. Rep. Liz Cheney's vote to impeach Trump prompts a voter rebellion in our home state. Now, third paragraph. Ever since Rep. Liz Cheney voted to impeach former President Donald Trump and accuse him of the greatest betrayal by a president in the United States of his office, Liz has been questioning Cheney's loyalty to the Republican Party and her commitment to the Wyoming constituents. When she did that, I felt disenfranchised, says Liz, who works at a local American Legion. I love the Cheneys, both Dick and Liz, but she has to represent the people. And so that's what it's all about. I mean, the people have not been represented well over the past 4 years by the Republican Party and by the Democratic Party. And the election this past 2020 is a testament to that. Like I said, when things are not addressed properly, when people who the people's voice are not heard the way they want it to be, they don't get the answers they're looking for or seeking, whether right or wrong, they're going to continue to protest, they're going to continue to fight, and continue to battle. That's what's so great about America. But we're at a crossroads. Are we experiencing the generations that are coming that's going to fight? Or are we experiencing a generation that's going to just let everything happen and let everything fall by the wayside, as long as they get what they want? As long as they get their stimulus check, as long as they get their video games, as long as they get their DoorDash. Will the older generation keep fighting the old lions? Or have they retired and then just kind of, hey, wherever the country's going, the country's going. It's time for the new generation to lead, and we welcome these new policies. I don't mind welcoming new policies, but we just need to make sure they're authentic. We got to make sure that is fair, that it's not, there's no corrupt essence behind it. We want to know that our vote counts. We want to know that we still have the right to protest, the right to freedom of speech, the right to bear arms. Control of our body and our mind and our opinions. We don't want to be censored, nor we want to be spied upon. Are we improving on those things? Or are they becoming more draconian? Is it getting worse? I would just say it's getting worse. From a political standpoint, from a big tech standpoint, there's been a lot of improvement. We're looking for hope, some kind of positive trend, And before I get too far into politics and what the Biden administration is going to do for us, or what they said they're going to do for us that haven't done yet, I want to talk a little about COVID. Because there is a little bit of positivity there. There's a little bit of hope there. Hey, Lee, can you pull up the stats real quick? I don't have that on my screen. The latest COVID stats for as we speak. I want to give you guys a current update on the COVID-19, the numbers worldwide. If you look here on the screen, here we got a. Yeah, can you do worldwide for me? Because I don't have my screen up for me. So yeah, currently we have 103 million cases. 57.3 million have recovered, and we have 2.24 million deaths currently worldwide, COVID-19. United States, we have 26.5 million cases, 114,000 increase. We don't show a recovery rate. I don't know why we don't do that, but 447,000 deaths, increase of 3,406 in the United States. I want to give a shout out to the United States, for example. The state of Indiana. Well, before I do that though, as far as the vaccine goes, because as you guys know, we have the Pfizer and the Moderna 2-shot solution. You take a shot initially, then you wait about 2 months to get a second shot. We have Johnson & Johnson coming out with their shot. It was a 1-shot vaccine, as I'm currently seeing, with a 66% success rate or transmission. Gets cut down. Then we have AstraZeneca. Here's an article from who's this? Article from New York Post. A single dose of AstraZeneca vaccine drastically cuts COVID-19 transmission from a Britain study from New England. Britain Health Chief says a new study showing that a single dose of COVID-19 vaccine developed by Oxford University AstraZeneca provides a high level of protection for 12-week support in the government strategy of delaying the second shot so more doses can be delivered to more people. So I guess it offers a level of protection for 12 weeks, allowing us to use more vaccinations on other people before the second shot. So this is actually another 2-shot solution. But that's positive news that we do have more solutions coming down for the vaccine. Numbers are going down. Shout out to the state of Indiana. This article by WTHR Channel 13 says, what's behind Indiana's COVID-19 decline? There's been a steady decline in Indianapolis. So there's been a steady decline in COVID-19 numbers in Indiana over the last few weeks, a decline that has surprised even researchers. Quote by Brian Dixon, Regan Street Institute Director of Informatics. I think it's baffling to many scientists as to why this disease has kind of flown south for the winter. There have been fewer than 3,000 cases in Indiana each day since January 22nd, and 1,565 cases reported Tuesday were the lowest since October. So, 600,000 Hoosiers have received at least the first dose of the coronavirus vaccine, but Dixon said that is not enough to solely drive the numbers down. He said several factors are likely driving the decline. 20% of Hoosiers have been affected at some point during the pandemic, said Dixon. Immunity can last up to 8 months and potentially longer. It could be individuals who were infected last summer or fall still being protected from getting infected again. And of course, fewer cases lead to fewer hospitalizations. So yeah, shout out to Indianapolis or Indiana for lowering their COVID numbers over the past few weeks. Seems to be a lot of it has due to immunity from vaccines. Yeah. Hoosiers are getting the vaccine more than most states. People are still wearing their masks, they're still distancing. Okay. So good job, Indiana. I also want to give Indiana another shout out. Another article here, WFYI NPR, says the Indiana December unemployment rate lowest in the Midwest. Indiana's unemployment rate fell to 4.3% in December, dropping almost a full percentage point from the month before, according to numbers released by the Bureau of Labor and Statistics Tuesday morning. The data shows a surge of more than 80,000 being counted in the labor force. The number of Hoosiers who were working or actively working or actually looking for work the last month. The state also reported a 64% labor force participation rate. So I like to tie that, like I said, I like to tie that into COVID, just, and stimulus, but COVID, this is an indication of a city that that is vigilant, that is fighting, continue to work, continue to push, continue to live their family. Raise their families and work and stay within their traditions and values amongst the pandemic. And it's heading to our employment numbers, our economy. I drive around a lot. I see a lot of restaurants open. I see people shopping. It's not totally open as a city, as a state, but we have that mentality, right? We have that drive to want to improve ourselves. And I want to give a shout out to the Hoosiers of Indiana. Like I said, if you look at this past summer riots, you look at these swing states in the voting in November, you look at these swing states or these liberal cities over 2020 and their behavior of their politicians, their governmental leaders, the Gavin Newsoms, the Cuomos, the Whitmers, These are democratically ran cities that are facing horrible economic numbers, horrible COVID numbers, drastic unemployment numbers, homelessness, and it's due to leadership. It's due to not wanting to open up. It's due to not wanting to open up because of political reasons, for power purposes, power grabs, doing a disservice to the American people. And when are we going to hold these politicians accountable? They're still in office. The facts are out there. And now they want the funding they want to restore their cities after all this rioting that they instilled with their cohorts in the media, with their paid protesters. Yeah, that's what I believe. The George Soroses, the Antifas, the Black Lives Matters. I asked what their real agenda was, what their main purpose was this past summer. And why is it hypocrisy? Why is the hypocrisy so prevalent when we know their riots? They burned down buildings, they killed police officers, they killed people, and the shame on them they did in November, over protesters storming the Capitol. I don't see a difference. I see a difference, but I definitely see a difference in how it's portrayed. And now we're living in a society where, how do you define a protest? Half the country is being labeled terrorists or domestic terrorists, being compared to foreign groups, terroristic groups, when they want to actually promote their right to free speech or right to vote. They want questions answered. I just think that's a very dangerous path to go down. You're attacking American people for holding up what's right, for questioning. That's nonsense. Absolutely not. This is here on the Emos to Witness Show, episode 22. Like I said, hit that subscribe, like button. Hit me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're growing as a show. Like I said, we're brand new. I've never done this before. Eventually, you'll see my editorials, my websites, my commentaries. For now, though, hit me up on that chat button. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions about various issues we've been talking about today. In addition to that, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep talking about some interesting news, like Jeff Bezos. He's actually stepping down as CEO of Amazon, and he will become executive chairman, according to this article from Fox Business. Let's see here. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos stepping down as CEO of the e-commerce giant company, said in a surprise announcement on Tuesday. Bezos will transition into a role of Amazon. Is that me? No. Anyway, Jeff Bezos will transition to a role as Amazon's executive chairman of the board during the company's third fiscal quarter. The company did not provide an exact date for the change. What's the reason, though? Well, just so you know, that Andy Jassy will replace Bezos as CEO. He started the marketing department. So you'll start hearing more about a guy named Jassy. Before I get into this, though, let's take a small break. Emos to Witness. We'll get back to talk about Amazon and a lot of the Democratic initiatives going forward here at Emos to Witness Show, episode 22 of the F.I.L.L. Show. Be right back.
The energy's here. I need you to be ready.
Coming off of that bike, and we're gonna work that core.
Find that balance.
Nordic Track, the home of interactive personal training.
Thanks for...
All right, America, we're back. Emos Witness Show, episode 22 of the F.I.L.L. Show, the fuck I look like. Okay, took a little small break, but we're back. Like I said, I want to, keep talking about these big wig companies, the big tech, and just see what they're up to. Like I said, big news was last night was Jeff Bezos actually stepping down as CEO. We have Andy Jassy now as the new CEO. I want to find out why, though. I mean, as we know, President Trump and Bezos bumped heads a lot over the last 4 years. Of course, Trump was trying to use the Postal Service as leverage to kind of bring Amazon's power down a little bit. And of course, Amazon has a nice coin on the market because of how they actually, what they do is they kind of put all their late deliveries, all their challenging deliveries on the Post Service's dime, and of course the Post Service has been losing money. But in a nutshell, though, that's how Amazon kind of gets its power, really, by how they utilize their weights and measures against the Postal Service. And of course, as you know, they did their thing with a parlor. So they're very powerful, man. A very powerful company. He's not really saying why. I mean, he's very controversial, but I mean, I know they. You're not really saying why, though. Amazon is what it is because of invention. We do crazy things together and then make them normal. We pioneer customer reviews, one-click personalized recommendations, Prime, insanely fast shipping, just walk out shopping, the Climate Pledge, Kindle, Alexa, Marketplace infrastructure, cloud computing, career choice, and much more. If you do it right, a few years after a surprising invention, the new thing has become normal. People yawn. That yawn is the greatest compliment an inventor can receive. When you look at our financial results, what you're actually seeing are the long-run cumulative results of invention. Right now, I see Amazon as its most inventive ever, making it an optimal time for this transition. So that's from Jeff Bezos. And so apparently the reason is because, just a time of transition. It's a time of growth for the company, and it's the right time to move on and kind of take that next step. And so they're actually stepping down as a result. So I guess that's pretty good news. As a company, as an economic indicator, you don't have to worry about any big sways in the market when there's a normal transition. But you're always worried when things like that happen, when leadership changes in a big company. So we'll keep our eye on Amazon and Jeff Bezos and what they have in store for them as a company. But right now, it seems like a very strategic, professional move, and that shows a sign of a healthy company, actually, when you do something like that. So actually, I applaud that news. The second article I wanted to bring up was Amazon is testing Rivian electric delivery vans in Los Angeles. Well, as you know, the electric car market is growing. And, Amazon has agreed to buy 100,000 Rivian electric vehicles as part of its pledge to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2024. Well, I think that, I read this in the previous article that Amazon and Rivian is actually owned by Amazon. So are they buying their own vehicles? I know there's other partners involved, but they are a part owner of this Rivian electric car vehicle company. I know Ford is also another one. So this is actually a future, man. You got Tesla, and this is one of the competitors that I brought up before. That Rivian is Rivian. Go check out their stock and check out their company, and you might see a future of driverless delivery vans that are electric, and being supplied by a new company not called Tesla. So keep your eye on what Amazon is doing in the electric car market. There's an interesting article on CNBC from Lori Colodny. Again, she mentions that Amazon has begun testing electric delivery vans from Rivian on routes to LA. Amazon has agreed to buy 100,000 electric vehicles. Rivian has raised about $8 billion since 2019 from investors, including Amazon, via its $2 billion climate pledge fund. So that's gonna be pretty interesting. But man, we're just waking up and getting our teeth brushed by robots and hop into our garage, and our car is already warmed up, floating, ready to go. You know, destination GPS preset. How much of that do we really want? I mean, I don't know. I kind of want it. Definitely, you know, I've been the last couple of weeks, and I'll tell you, I've been pretty much playing, you know, super dad. You know, my wife is currently on like a little project out of town, and so I've been raising my daughter, you know, every morning, getting ready for school, and well, that's just no joke. You know, I'd like to have me a little robot run around. I mean, you give me the robot on Rocky, the last Rocky with the Russian killed Apollo Creed. Just give me that. Give me some kind of helper, man. Some kind of helper. But I can't wait to get those robots, man. They just pick you up out the bed and throw your clothes on for you. I wish they do this with my daughter, man. Wake her ass up and just throw her against the wall. I mean, look, shit. Did I say that out loud? I mean, throw her on the couch and get her dressed. You know, without me having to really kind of do a whole lot. I would love that, man. Anyway. Yeah, we need to get to that point in America, man. We need to get to that point. Cause shit, okay, what I was talking about. See, that's some crazy, that's some shit. But yeah, the electric car market's coming out. It's getting heavy. So keep your eyes on that. Again, I want to get back to politics. That's what the Emos to Witness show is. Again, like I said, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Again, you can catch me downtown every Monday, Wednesday, Friday live. Doing it live, y'all, at Wave 1 Media, 120 East Market Street. We're going as a show with all witnesses. I myself is reporting the news, being your referee, your guide. We're going to try to expose these politicians, dig into these issues, see where the right, where the wrong is. We'll get more detailed, more intricate, but until then, we're going to just kind of find our voice together. As the Emos to Witness F.I.L.L Show, episode 22. Okay, here we are downtown at 120 Market Street. Let's get into the politics of it all. Like I stated before, we have a new administration, the Biden administration, whether we like it or not, where they came into power in the false pretenses, they're here right now, and they're not going anywhere for at least 4 years, it appears. So we got to keep track of what they're doing. And for me, I like to keep track of the foreign policy because that's important to me. One of the reasons why I voted for President Trump, you know, was because of the foreign policy initiatives that he has set forth. I didn't like what happened in Libya under the Obama administration. As I said in the last episode, this past Monday, you know, you're getting a perspective from someone who voted Democrat in every election since he was able to vote. You know, I was part of the sheeple, the group think. You know what I mean? I was part of the group think where everybody just voted for one party ticket all the way down the line. Didn't know why I was even doing it. Didn't even have any clue of what the policy was all about. And then as you grow, like I said, naturally, it's a natural thing. When you grow, as you grow, maybe you go to college, maybe you go straight into the workforce. Based on what you experience, your values change. Your positions change. I know when I was in college, I was more liberal about things. And now, you know, I'm out of college. I'm in the workforce. You get married, you have kids. Your values change further. And then you start seeing these politicians for who they are, because you pay money, you pay your taxes, and you drive around these streets and you drive around these cities and you see things that you seen 10 years ago. You don't see really any kind of improvement. You see the same storylines every year. You see the same state, local, and national officials, just the name changes, but the topic's the same. Alleged corruption. No one gets the slap on the wrist. No one gets, nothing gets addressed. And we're still seeing that. Okay? So now, here I am, I fast forward, I protest all those things. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and find a new direction. I'm looking for a fresh face. So I went for Trump. And like I said, I like what he was doing. I like his policy, like what he was pushing. There's a lot of issues about his character, but I don't judge my leaders based on their character. I base my leadership based on what they're going to do for me and my family, long term and short term. And so when I see a lot of these policy reversals, a lot of double talk from these politicians, and then you see alleged corruption, are you going to sit back and let it slide? Or are you going to move forward and step forward and create your own show? Emos the Witness, y'all. Check me out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Catch me on YouTube, Spotify. Hit me on Facebook, Twitter. And we're going to have a fresh perspective on all these matters. We're going to address and be more clear so we can have a better opinion about who we're going to elect in the future. So like I said, meeting in foreign policy, I wanted to check on some of the three main hot spots, and one is Afghanistan, one is the Middle East, and one is North Korea. And again, I just mentioned how we got an increase in military support in military troops in Syria by 200. Again, it doesn't matter the amount, it matters the intention. So what is it holding the future? What theater are we going to be at? I know we had 4 years of peace, right? I touted a lot of Trump's foreign policy initiatives last episode. We haven't been at war. We had peace. Matter of fact, our previous president was nominated for 2 Nobel Peace Prize nominations, right? One of the first presidents to ever step foot in North Korea. I haven't seen a nuclear missile launched in North Korea in the last 4 years since the president was in office. It's been pretty peaceful down there. Peace through strength. We had some conflict, some near conflict issues in the South China Sea, but for the most part, it's been peaceful. Now, I don't know what that holds with the new administration. Will they let China just run rampant in that region? But we did a lot to kind of push back in that region, with our allies in Australia and whatnot, in the Philippines, South Korea. So we'll see what a Biden administration does in that region. But like I said, we've seen an increase of 200 troops in Afghanistan. We have a South Korean leader that wants to keep the Hanoi Accord going, which is the peace accord that Trump is pursuing with North Korea. As that stood, there's been a delay or a stall in talks. That's where they currently stand now. But as we now know that according to there's an article here by this is VOA? That's not Vox. By Christy Lee of VOA, experts, Biden thought likely to reverse Trump's North Korea policies. So the likelihood that we go backwards in time into a previous political stance where we have, let me just read it. It was the fourth paragraph though. I think the fourth paragraph says, I think the Biden administration is likely to seek incremental dismantlement of North Korea's nuclear program in exchange for incremental sanctions relief, says Gary Samore, who served as the White House coordinator for arms control and weapons of mass destruction during the Obama administration. As we saw at the Hanoi summit, Kim Jong-un is not willing to accept a big deal for complete denuclearization in exchange for complete sanction relief. And that's true. That's very true. Trump, he was all about a big deal. Let's have a big deal on everything. Would it be trade deals, USMCA versus NAFTA? Let's get it all done. Let's do it all at once. And that's what he's trying to do with this. And that's, I think you can probably consider that a partial foreign policy failure, right? Because he didn't get what he wanted, but he did have peace for the last 4 years, And we also know incremental sanctions hasn't worked in the past. We kept seeing missile launches. So, maybe the push of a big deal, which currently led to a stall in talks, but, peace. In exchange for, denuclearization, maybe this time around, maybe we can offer incremental changes for, hey, quit launching missiles. Let's get rid of your nuclear weapons. Maybe that'll work this time. It didn't work in the past, but when you push a big deal in the face and then kind of pull it back, maybe it's a tactic that might work this time. But again, you have China in the background. China is that big bulwark. China is that big parent in the background. North Korea is not going to do anything without China's involvement. So we'll just see what happens. We'll see what kind of relationship we have with the Chinese government and People's Republic. and we'll see how that forms with the North Korea with a new old stance, right? Because they've already tried this with the previous administration or Obama administration, and it didn't really pan out too well. So we'll see how Kim Jong-un reacts to a new or previous administration policy. Like I said, with what happened in Libya, which Biden was a big part of, I don't see how any of these African nations or any of these Middle Eastern countries will warm up to a Biden foreign policy, agenda. I don't see how they would. There's got to be a lot of mistrust there, and we'll see what happens. But on the foreign policy front, we see a lot of reversals. And here's another article from BBC News: Afghan war, Biden administration to review Trump's Taliban deal. Now, as you guys know, Trump, before he left office, he was trying to pull the troops out of Afghanistan, and he had struck a deal with the Taliban. This is getting to the article a little bit. What's in the Taliban deal? If you come towards the middle of the article, the Trump administration made withdrawing troops from Afghanistan a priority. A deal signed in February of 2020 said that the U.S. and its NATO allies will withdraw all troops in 14 months if the Taliban upheld its promises, including not allowing al-Qaeda or other militants to operate in areas it controlled, and proceeding with national peace talks. Now, we haven't heard much about Afghanistan, in years. In the past 4 years, it's not like it was a hot button topic. We talked about it every single day. This is the longest running war in U.S. history. It's time for it to come to an end. We haven't heard too much about any troop killings. We've been doing a lot of policing. We've been trying to restore that government, and we've built a lot of roads. We did a lot of things over there, and it's time to bring our troops home. So when you see an article like this where President Biden wants to review the policy of the Taliban deal, sounds like to me you want to continue on the mission. Whether that be maintaining the poppy fields, whether it be sending 200 troops to Syria to maintain the oil fields, right? It's a continuation of the status quo, the establishment, the policies of the past. No matter how corrupt they are, they're reinstalling them. We had a reversal from a previous administration. See, these are the things that come out of an election that you may only hear about in the beginning of a new term, a new administration. Everything that you heard during the election, that on those stumps, on those campaign rallies, when you hear those things, those pretty much are cover from the real policy issues. Afghan war, Middle Eastern war, what's going on for Israel and Palestinians, What are we there for, Why does one president want to take troops away and one wants to keep the policy going? Who's getting paid in the background? Who's in charge? We have a reversal of the Keystone Pipeline. Why, as a country, do we enact policies, and good or bad, but if they're good, a new leader comes by, can take it all away, reverse it. We're back to square one. How do we grow as a country? How do we compete? Educationally, our teachers, our students. We got hit with a virus, guys, last year. It's still here. It made a huge impact on our child's education system. We saw a lot of open gaps, a lot of open holes. We still are. From virtual learning, a lot of things were exposed that this country is although great, we have a lot of work to do. And you put that on top of fear of a leadership that's only here for a power grab, or to change the whole system uproot capitalism for a socialistic agenda, where 2/3 of the world has tried over decades and it's failed. And then, like I said, you've seen a reversal of foreign policy agendas that led to 4 years of peace through strength, that put America back at the forefront of foreign policy leadership. You've seen that being reversed. For what? We don't know. For the same. And then when you see a Democratic Party that controls all three of the branches of the government, And then you see the Republican Party that is splintered, divided, that is trying to find its ways, new identity. What is that? What does that bode for the American people? When Chuck Schumer says that you may not see a stimulus check until April. Wow. But you had a president that was pushing an agenda to say, hey, immediately, as soon as I come in office, executive order, get these checks out. I have not seen not one executive order yet that has benefited the African American people or minority people. You can come with the Dreamers Act, Medicare for all. A lot of talk. Where's the action? So here at the Emos to Witness Show, we're going to hold people accountable. Politicians, sports figures, entertainers, people in business, society that want to steer our narrative, want to change the narrative and steer us in a certain direction. We have to hold them accountable. We got to see what they're saying to us and why they're saying it to us. And if it's valid, it's valid. If they have our best interest, then we can give them a check mark. We give them a green check mark. But no longer should we walk into those voting booths blinded. No longer, America. I want you to do two things. I want you to be informed, and I want you, if you get the gall, to get your voice out. Write editorials. Talk to your politician. Give them a phone call. Create a show. Do something, because right now, in the social media, big tech, in Congress, in halls of Congress, you're seeing a one slot. You're seeing laws passed. You're seeing censorship, and you're seeing a degrading of our values. And again, as your host, Emos the Witness, the F.I.L.L. Show, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and hopefully be more than that, I want to bring you the message from an American perspective, from an ordinary citizen's perspective. Okay? So let's grow together. And let's hold this country accountable and make it better, because we want to make it better. We want to see equality. We want to see unity. We've been beating each other up for so long, and I bet the whole world is waiting for us to grow up. So I see it. I'm very optimistic. But as long as we hold this administration accountable, and as long as we continue to address some of the investigations from the past, including what happened in 2020 and during the election, we'll become a better country for it. Okay? But we can't let what happened in the past go by the wayside. And each and every show, I'm going to try to expose the hypocrisy, and I'm going to try to expose each politician that's currently in office, each leader that's currently in office in the past and the present, all the key figures in all these past investigations. Let's rehash it. Let's make sure we're informed. So we made this country a better place, and so we can salvage the middle class as well, because the family is being under attack, the middle class is being under attack, and we're coming to a society of authoritarianism where it's blatant, where you can just censor a congresswoman, or you can just censor a competitor because you feel a threat. Hedge funds. I mean, the system is being exposed. The loopholes, the gaps, the advantages that the rich have over the poor are being exposed. I don't say you destroy it, Merrick. I don't say that. I say you make it better. I say you make the corrections. You don't sweep it under the rug anymore. You address these things, and if people got to go to jail for it, then so be it. But but it's a cleaning. It's a cleanup. But I'm worried though. How can you have a cleanup when we get the same characters and cast of characters in office, back in office, the whole same gang? So what we do is we push back. We push back. We lend a voice. And here at the Emos the Witness, I aim to be that voice. So join me every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Catch me downtown at Wave 1 Media, 120 East Market Street. You can please subscribe to my YouTube page. Like me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You can catch my shows on Spotify. We're growing. My website will be coming soon. Emos the Witness, the F.I.L.L. Show. The Fuck I Look Like, episode 20. I want you guys to have a great Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you on Friday with more content, more analysis, and more views. I'm out.